Joe Biden tiene un plan para vencer el virus y mucho más. Para vencer el virus y resucitar la economía. Para vencer el virus y devolvernos los trabajos. Para vencer el virus y mantener a nuestras familias a salvo. Así es, Joe Biden sabe que nada pasa sin antes vencer el virus. Y para vencer el virus, hay que vencer a Donald Trump.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Pagado por Biden for President.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket, Indian Premier League 2020 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's the IPL Daily. I'm the Cricket Badger, James Buttler. And thank you to our sponsors, Bodyline, TShirts.com and Moonrise Cricket. I'm joined on this edition by Clare Sanderson and Rito Maitra. Start with you, Rito. We're looking back at this game between CSK and Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals have moved from 8th position, bottom of the table, all the way up to 5th with that win today. And CSK, to me, looked down and out. Is there any chance for MS Dhoni?
Well, I don't know. Probably it was quite a dampener from yesterday's super over finishes, really. But a good solid win for Rajasthan today. They will take heart from this performance tonight. For CSK, they look gone and out. Even MSD in his post-match interview probably said that now is the time to give chances to youngsters. So he is also saying their campaign is over. But previously, once in the tournament, I think, team qualified with 7 victories for the playoffs. So mathematically, they're still in there, but not much of a chance from them.
Well, I'm calling it now, Rito. They have no chance. No chance at all. They're on 6 points. We went through 4th place, the points that got 4th place through over the last 5 years. The lowest was 12. Now, they've got 4 games left and they're on 6. That would mean they would have to win 3 of the 4, and even that wouldn't guarantee them progression. Winning 4 out of the 4 wouldn't guarantee them progression, and I can't see them winning 3 or 4 out of the 4 because they're not playing well enough. So, Claire, it's looking bleak, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, much as it pains me to say so, yeah. I think, like Rito said, MS Dhoni kind of said it, like, it's time to give the youngsters a chance. Yeah, and again, as Rito said, a bit of a damp squib, I guess, after yesterday and all the thrills and spills, but it's just not been CSK's season. Some areas where there were fine margins, but I guess when James Buttler has his day, he has his day, and today definitely was that. Interested to see him in the field. Thought that catch was just phenomenal. He does better out there really than behind the sticks, if I dare say it. And he's batting really good. So nice for Rajasthan to finally see them pulling it all together. But sadly CSK looked a bit down in the doldrums today.
It was quite nice, going on from what Claire just said there, Rito. It was actually quite nice for me today to see a very one-sided game that never really got me on the edge of my seat. It was quite nice to relax for a day and just get a kind of day off from the tension of Saturday and Sunday, which was a little bit bonkers, wasn't it?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, it was a classic weekend that we all wanted. But today was a really good performance for RR. They never really let CSK get off to a good score, and then in the field, they were fantastic. James Buttler with a classic catch at cover. Then again, James Buttler with the bat in the chase when the RR were at 28 for 3, and Steve Smith was inside edge away from being plumb in front. That's when James Buttler took it by the scruff of the neck and finished it off.
Badgers are furry creatures. 85% of women badgers think bad grooming is a major turn-off. 80% of women badgers think men should trim below the belt. 89% of men think good grooming is essential to their professional success. Don't just dismiss it out of hand. Get on there, manscaped.com. Check out their great range of male grooming accessories. Hygiene, appearance, attractiveness, confidence. Simply go to manscaped.com, quote the discount code BADGER. You get 20% off, you get free shipping, and you get some seriously quality equipment. Manscaped.com. Together we save balls. Claire, looking at CSK, we've been calling them Dad's Army for 2 years and they've not got any younger. And now is the time, isn't it, for the CSK owners and people in charge of that franchise to almost throw all the deadwood out and almost start again, because they've got the power, they've got the money, they've got the inclination to do that. But I can't see with the squad they've got too much of a future unless they make some drastic changes.
Well, yeah, and I guess what's odd in a way is that there's been a lot of talk about getting Imran Tahir in. Again, another one of the older brigade. He didn't get his game. And Hazelwood came in. I thought he did really well, really impressive figures. So there are options about. But, I mean, I think once MS Dhoni was run out, there was just no hope of getting enough runs on the board to make a game of it. So maybe that kind of run out was a little bit telling. But then again, he made a fantastic catch behind the stumps to get Sanju Samson out. So, it's just really hard. I think it's getting that balance of the younger players and the older players, and the younger ones feeding from those older ones. But I guess when you've got just too many older ones, maybe it's just not going to come off. So, yeah, maybe you're right.
Rito, you look down the CSK lineup for this game. I mean, apart from Imran Tahir, I'd exempt him because we've not seen any form or not from him. He was the Purple Cap winner last season and is conspicuous by his absence from their playing 11. But they've got Sam Curran opening. Now, I like Sam Curran as a cricketer. I think he's got a lot of potential. But I think if you're asking the question who should open, if you've got a bit of a problem in your batting and the answer is Sam Curran to open, I think that exposes CSK to have quite a few problems, because Sam Curran is your cameo man. He's the man that comes in and hits 3 or 4 sixes lower down the order. And I thought today, 22 off 25, that's not your pinch hitter role, is it? So what's he doing up there for a start? After Pless, he's had a good tournament. I'm taking him out of the criticism. But Shane Watson, he is kind of like once in every 10 games kind of cricketer these days. He doesn't play enough cricket. He's getting towards the end of his IPL career, I think. And you look all the way through. You can make criticisms all the way through. I think they should keep MSD in charge for at least another season to steer them through. But they've got to make changes, Rito, haven't they?
Well, frankly speaking, looking at the lineup, I think they need wholesale changes ahead of next year. But whether that's going to happen with the mega auction or not, we don't know. But looking at the lineup, they really need 2 or 3 youngsters coming in over there to just give some energy to that team. There are far too many 35-year-olds over there. T20 is a game for the youth, not for those old men. So they need some wholesale changes, really.
We were talking in our WhatsApp group this afternoon while the match was going on, and I saw a few names bandied about. Rito, Joe Root was one of them. I think he'd do a great job for them. He wants to play IPL cricket, or he certainly did in 2018, and he's a steady pair of hands that will come off more often than not. Maybe not go along at Kieran Pollard kind of rate, but he's going to be steadying. Everybody else can play around him. You've got the likes of David Milan, you've got Jason Roy, you've got Darcy Short from Australia. There's quite a few overseas players that aren't in this IPL at the moment that I think would do a better job than Shane Watson for one. Who would you bring in if I was to put you in charge, Rito, of CSK now? How would you play it? Who would you be looking at around the world?
Well, even at the start of the season, I was thinking CSK probably need a root-type batsman who can play the anchor role and can score at a fair clip regularly. So Root is the ideal man for me. I don't know whether they will buy him at the auction or not. But if you look at Root, Williamson, if SRH lets go of him, then he's another one really. Those are the 2 batsmen who come to my mind.
BodylineTShirts.com. Browse the finest collection of cricketing t-shirts on the web. Hundreds of original cricket designs for cricket players and fans alike, featuring everyone and everything from Larwood to Leach and Cow Corner to chin music at BodylineTShirts.com. And you can get 10% off your first order using the code BADGER at checkout. BodylineTShirts.com. T-shirts for the discerning cricket fan. Claire, you're a Yorkshire girl. You've seen a lot of Joe Root down the years. You've seen him play for England as well. He's gone from strength to strength. When I first met him, he looked like a 10-year-old, I think, when I first met him when he was a teenager at Yorkshire. But the CSK at the moment are crying out for somebody who is a safe pair of hands that the rest of them can bat around. And he somebody like him would be ideal, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, I know he sort of didn't have his place in the England team, but he came and played for Yorkshire in their last few blast matches. And really, I mean, I think, again, going back to that experience that he's got as a captain and international player, he was really inspirational to the other lads. And it was good to see him sort of committing to Yorkshire and getting runs for Yorkshire and winning a few games for him. And that could transfer easily into, a team like this who, you've got one of the big four names in the world, or the five of them now. Like I say, he's got experience and youth, international experience. He's batted all over the world. And obviously, he's got that massive tick that he's a Yorkshireman. So, yeah, I think definitely worth a shout out. Definitely.
He's a really good player of spin as well, Ruti.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of people, when they think about T20, they get bogged down with the massive hitters and who come off once in every 5 games. Well, I would almost guarantee CSK or any other franchise that if they took Joe Root, he'd probably bubble along at about 125, 130 strike rate. He'd come off probably every 4 or 5 games with a decent contribution, and he would add that solidity that they desperately need at the top of the order.
Well, absolutely. I also think he's an excellent player of spin. And one knock of his that comes to my mind is that against South Africa and Mumbai in that 2016 World Cup, really, when England chased them to 30 in an improbable chase. And he loves playing in India. He loves facing spinners. He loves that dab sweeper of his. He has got reverse sweep as well. So he's the perfect man for 10 match, really.
And Claire, you mentioned he's not in the current thinking for England in T20s, but that England team is probably the hardest in the world at the moment to get into, isn't it? There's a lot of very good T20 players in England, and it's no disgrace that England have said to him, concentrate on the Test matches and maybe the ODIs as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, when I said that, I was just mainly because it gave him that opportunity to go and play for Yorkshire, get some T20 matches under his belt and show, the sort of breadth of his experience kind of thing. And, I mean, he's had a busy year. I know, I think parenthood is a big thing, but he's done a lot of that. Yeah, definitely a worthwhile player. And like I say, his captaincy experience, if they're looking for somebody to line up when the final day comes for MS, well, he's proved that he's got that experience as a captain, the skill and the knowledge and the ability. So, yeah, I think it's a really good shout.
Or at least to go into the think tank. I mean, most of these sides, when we look at them, they've got that little leadership gaggle, haven't they, the experienced players. And somebody like Joe Root would fit into that a treat. Looking at CSK, they've got to do something. And as Rito said, MSD was hinting at the fact they might bring in a few of the youngsters. It's too little too late, isn't it, Claire? They've been in dire straits all the way through this competition. They've never really got into the top half at all. Imran Tahir as a selection that hasn't been made is baffling to me. And the fact that they haven't tried to bring in a couple of the youngsters to test them out earlier when it actually meant something, I don't get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you say, is it all a little too late? And I guess we don't understand that psychology or how it's all come together. That's the way it's gone and that's the decisions they've made. So I guess they've got to just stick by that, see what they can make out of the rest of the season, but it's going to be tough. I mean, Dhoni, for the first time, I think he looked a bit deflated,
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He did.
Yeah, jaded, just not up for it. And that's not like him, So I guess if the skipper's feeling it, then the rest of the team are going to feel it. Yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to go from here. But I guess you can never call anybody finally down and out, speaking from experience. Let's see what happens in the rest of the tournament. But yeah, a bit of a sorry performance from them today.
One final word on CSK, Rito. As Claire said, Dhoni did look a little bit down at his post-match interview. He's not used to losing, is he, MSD? Whether it's in an Indian shirt or whether it's with CSK, they've never failed to make the playoffs in their previous 10 seasons. This is a new experience for him. It's going to be tough to take.
Well, it's really a new experience for him. But at the start of the season when Suresh Raina and Harbhajan Singh, they ruled themselves out of the tournament, that's when a lot of the pundits says it's going to be a hard season for CSK from here. And it has proved so far that has been the case. Only once with Rising Pune Super Giants, he didn't qualify for the playoffs. And this is his looks like his second year.
Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Let's have your Moonrise moment of the match nominations then. Start with you, Claire.
Okay, well, I would have to go with, I think, as in the turning point of the whole game, well, I'll go for that Dhoni run out, because I thought it was a brilliant throw to get him out. It was, again, fine margins, and it kind of, stopped them from getting anywhere near a playable score. So, yeah, that would be my Moonrise moment of the match.
What about you, Rito?
Yeah, my moment of the match was Chahar castling Stokes in the third over of our innings. Although CSK lost, but Stokes had hit a boundary of Chahar's previous delivery. And for Chahar to come back in that fashion was absolutely a thing of beauty for a spectator.
Right, adjudication. I am sorry, Rito, but I'm actually going to go with Claire today. I thought that run out of MSD epitomised CSK and his season so far, really. He trotted the first one, never looked interested in the second. Archer half fumbled it, and he ended up having to dive in at the far end and was just short. And that is basically CSK's season in a nutshell, and it is our Moonrise moment of the match today. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank, or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Let's have a look ahead to tomorrow's game. Kings XI Punjab against Delhi Capitals. And Claire, this is your team, and they are starting to show some fight. I mean, they've played good cricket all the way through this IPL. We've talked about their bad luck and their ability to throw away winning positions before, but they've got a couple of wins on the bounce now. They're playing a Delhi Capital side who are all but qualified for the playoffs. This is a big game for Kings XI, isn't it? Because if they could beat them as well off the back of beating Mumbai, then that would really sort of see them charge up level with Rajasthan Royals and all to play for. Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. So they're coming off a good win, a good couple of wins. All those things that I've said about the team clicking and coming together, about, even like Chris Jordan, what a game for him yesterday. Even though he tried to take 3 runs to get 2, which put him into the super over. But I mean, the bowling in the super over, just can't imagine the kind of nerve of steel it must take to stand up and do that. And I thought, all-round performance, everybody chipping in. I mean, it was fantastic. So I guess on the back of that, wow, anything's possible. They've got that belief. Yeah, and you just have to hope that I have to hope the momentum is with them and they can carry that forward. I always said having Chris Gale among the ranks is really, really, you can see the change in them all. Gosh, yeah, how exciting to anticipate this one tomorrow. That said, Delhi are a really strong team. They're kind of being a bit untouchable. So, yeah, it's going to be a thriller, I hope, and hopefully one that we can win again.
I know you've had therapy, Claire, since the second game of the season, but that super over, which the one short, the super over, all of the Stoinis' last over, etc., etc., etc. Seems like a long, long time ago now, but this is the reverse fixture from that one, and if it's as tight as that one, it's going to be tense, isn't it?
It is going to be tense. I mean, I think I might have to find a bit of housework or something to do to keep me occupied if it all gets a bit too much for me, like I did yesterday. We've talked about fine margins, and they know how to cut it fine. Let's just hope that once again those fine margins fall in our favour.
You never know, do you? If one of these teams that have been basement dwellers can suddenly go on this run and charge into the playoffs with a head of steam, you never know what can happen at the end of that. Rito, Delhi Capitals, Claire says that Kings XI have momentum. Well, Delhi have got a fair bit of that themselves, haven't they?
Well, yes, they have. So far, they have looked invincible in the season. Yes, they have lost a couple of games, but against Kings XI, you would fancy their chances. But having said that, I would say they still have a bit of issues in Delhi at the top. Prithvi Shaw has now been getting out for low scores. And then Ajinkya Rahane also hasn't quite found his place in the team, guaranteed. So they have their issues to deal with Delhi.
Shikhar Dhawan's been making up for Prithvi Shaw, hasn't he, Rito? Prithvi Shaw has gone 4 games now without getting past 20. Last couple of games, I don't think he scored a single run. So would you, if you were the Delhi Capitals management, would you make a change there, or has Prithvi Shaw got enough credit in the bank and enough, he's got undoubted talent? Would you stick with him?
Well, I know Prithvi Shaw has been getting out cheaply in the previous 4 games, but why change a winning combination if I'm Ricky Ponting, really? Well, that's a long shot to say, but I wouldn't change a winning combination. Dhawan has been making up for Prithvi Shaw. Previously, we have been critical of Dhawan for slowing down in the power play, but in the past 2 games, he has made up for it. He has now accelerated nicely after the power play and has scored runs.
Rito, last word from you on this podcast today. Who would you think's going to win this game tomorrow? Kings XI Punjab against Delhi Capitals. Your dog's going for Kings XI, isn't he? I can hear him.
No, that's not my dog. That's a stray dog, really.
I can understand dog though. That dog in the street is going for Kings XI. Are you in agreement with the dog?
Well, it's going to be a tough one to pick, really. I would say Kings XI coming off 2 good victories, and then DC having all the confidence in the world of the run. So it's going to be a tight one, but I would say DC.
I'm opening that dressing room door, Claire. You're going in, Kings XI, they've got more confidence now than when you first gave them a team talk, but you're going to give them a little 30-second grab of what Clare Sanderson thinks the Kings XI Punjab can do tomorrow against Delhi Capitals. Open the door, go.
Well, boys, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You've got the strength, the knowledge, the experience, the skills and the momentum. Yeah, we don't need Brian Close to get us through this one. You've done it all by yourselves. So all I can say is remember what it's like to win and keep on winning.
I'll tell you what, the high fives, they're feeling on cloud 9 now as they run out onto that surface. I think you've done your job again, Claire. The team talks didn't work to start with, but I think they're coming round to your way of thinking now and starting to actually agree that winning's probably quite a nice feeling. Long may that continue. It can only continue for one of them, though. Delhi Capitals, a very good side as well. It's going to be a really good game, I think, that one tomorrow, and an important game for Kings XI to try and get across the line again. Clare Sanderson, Rito Maitra, thank you for joining me.
Cheers, James, and cheers, Rito. I know really you want Kings XI to win.
Well, it's been a pleasure as always, James.
He's ignored your comment, Claire. He's ignored your comment completely.
I was going to say, he just totally ignored that. So anyway, there you go. Yeah, nice one, guys. Cheers.
And thank you to you all for listening in your increasing numbers throughout this IPL, which is going from strength to strength as well. Thank you to Bodyline TShirts.com and Moonrise Cricket for their support of this IPL Daily. I've been James. This has been the IPL Daily Podcast. And as the name suggests, we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
The Medicare annual election period deadline is coming soon. I'm Meredith Vieira, here with examples of people who found the key to the right coverage at myhealthpolicy.com. Meet Larry. He likes doing things online.
I took my time and found the best Medicare Advantage plan for me at myhealthpolicy.com.
Next is Mary. When she wanted answers, she picked up the phone.
I wanted a local perspective on plan, so I called myhealthpolicy.com.
And finally, Michael.
I prefer face-to-face, so I chose myhealthpolicy.com and enrolled on the spot. Go to myhealthpolicy.com to learn about top-rated Medicare Advantage plans in your area, including $0 premium plans. Or call 1-800-GO-START. That's 1-800-GO-START. myhealthpolicy.com. Meredith Vieira is a paid endorser. KF Agency operates myhealthpolicy.com, not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. government or the federal Medicare program. A licensed insurance agent may call.